The reason why I don't teach men pickup game or certain dating and relationship game is because that wouldn't help them. Because the problem is men's programming, their value system. Some of it is instinctual, some of it by nature is fundamentally broken when you're dealing with the modern world, the modern society, and how it sees, views, and values men. So the violation of the social contract. The contract is gone, where men and women brought certain things to the relationship table. Those things are gone, except for women. Men are still expected to be held to the same standard. You can't have one person with a mindset and a mentality of the 1930s and with men brought to the table for women, which is what society tries to hold men to. And you have one person that's taught to be powerful, empowered, self-preservative, take care of yourself, which is what we teach the women. Those things are going to collide. And then you add in social media, a gynocentric environment, and a society itself that tries to uplift women while pressing down on men at the expense of men. And this is the problem that we have in society and why so many men fail, because they're focusing on the wrong thing. And obviously the motivation behind what they do is because women do 80% of the spending. That's why the Scott Galloways and them are nervous, because they're just pawns for whatever corporate masters or government masters or whatever else, because it scares them, because there's a global problem. I brought to you images from China and what has happened in their dating and relationship market when guys got into the risk. When they did a market assessment, they started looking at relationship from a business perspective. And, market distortions, what you see, women that have overvalued themselves based upon the delusions and, that's been given to them from social media, and an environment where they're highly being pushed and motivated by entertainment industry, by Hollywood, and with the movies that are being put out, government empowerment, and all of these things that created an environment of complete and utter delusion. But nature itself brings balance. Time, age, those things have factors in it, and what we are naturally as people. So when I brought into the frame of what's needed in terms of men, I went back and I looked at individuals that have been prominent in our history, and I thought of Ayn Rand, and because it dealt with the virus. For some guys who want to learn that game, I use Patrice O'Neill because he focuses on self-esteem and how you value yourself and how you view yourself as a man and how you see your life. If you think you cannot have value in life unless you have a woman in your life, or you don't fall in love with your own company, you have a problem already. Because again, happy people are happy by themselves. Therefore, they invite people in their life that bring value and increase their happiness in life. So it's a deeper conversation than teaching you just to go out here and meet women and how female nature and all that stuff. Ultimately, if you don't see yourself as valuable, you don't see yourself as deserving, and you only see yourself as this provider, protector, and how I'm supposed to make life better for everybody else, and this sacrificial animal, you're going to get cooked in this culture that we currently have, this narcissistic culture, this dehumanizing culture when it comes to men. You're going to get ate up in the distance. You see, anything is, people, you say run a 100-meter dash, try running 1,500. It's the distance that matters and being successful long-term. Not just going over here and getting some girl or pickup girl artist bullshit. That shit ain't gonna help you if you've been programmed to jump on the grenade. You're gonna end up jumping on the grenade. You're gonna end up putting everybody first for yourself. And then you're gonna end up in a bad situation where you see some of these guys walking around 10, 15 years in these marriages and these relationships. They're suffering. They're just a shadow of themselves. People think, but single men can go to a damn brothel. I'm a single man. F single men. It's the married dude that's getting this ass cooked. He's trapped. Imagine having your resources, your income, your kids can be leveraged against you in a system that doesn't care about men, if that woman leaves, it's going to be all his fault. Everything is at his feet. Everything is at his feet. The court of public opinion, her family, his family, some of them his family, the society, the court system, the legal system. That guy has a real lonely single man. Man, let me tell you something. Some of these kids, I visit some of these kids, the universities and whatever else, and I do a lot of mentors. These dudes be one guy sitting in somewhere, and he's playing a video game with 20 guys from around the world. It ain't that loneliness thing. There is some loneliness. Human beings can get lonely sometimes. But it's not what they're trying. That's a way of trying to play mind game and manipulation to get them get back out here on the planet, Scott Galloway's and the rest of the society's plantation, where men should be better for women in the society who hates them. Not that you shouldn't be better for yourself. See, that's the difference between me and these. They want you to be better for women. I want you to be better for you. When I do things and I operate, I'm going to the gym to work out for my health. And that's so I can go attract women. F them women. I love them. I think they're great. Ladies, I love you. But at the end of the day, I don't give a rat's ass about trying to, get in better shape or look better for you. I look better because I like it. Now, getting women is a side effect. That's important. But your health is the most important thing. Your money, your finances, your mental health is the most important thing. And that's why even with some of these guys about pickup game and approaching women, look, you don't have to sell what's already been sold, brother. I'm telling you. You be social, walk around, talk to all types of women. You're vetting and trying to eliminate goofies, chicken heads, gold diggers, and insane broads. Period. That's the type of development you got to put into yourself when you deal when you deal with women. You operate from a position of power instead of just taking these, what's the word, brother angry man, you scrags that come along, because you're operating from a position of power and strength. And that's the way you have to develop yourself as a man. But we have to get rid of this altruism thing first. I mean, what good is game to somebody with low self-esteem who don't like themselves? They hate themselves. They don't think they're deserving of anything, or they don't see their life as being anything of value or worth preserving. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of men, especially men in America and the West, because they get beaten down on so much by the media and society itself, don't really know their true value, and haven't really, because they've been programmed on the old system. And when you start looking at life, relationships as business, and you start taking various risk mitigation, you get proactive with your risk mitigation. You make smart. That don't mean you like everything in life has risk. You just make smart assessments about your life, because that's how women look at it. I mean, what brother CGO said, men are in love, women are in business. Look at the world through the lenses of businesses, and you see the market distortions out here with all these leftover women and this nonsense out here. That's what you want to sign your life up for. Go ahead. Men have all types of avenues right now. You can have surrogates to have your kids. You can have all kinds of. You can have kids in another country, and pay a certain amount of money and have those kids delivered to you. You don't need to get involved with some of this bullshit nowadays. You have so many options out here in this world as a man. If you can reprogram your mind, it's your mind and your mentality. That's the problem. The old ways, the old system does not serve men in 2025 and beyond. You're not dealing with the same women. Some of them, I don't know anyone can live with them. And I'll talk to them. How can anybody live with them? They're insufferable in terms of long-term relationship. Their logic, their reason, their mentality, the type of information they're getting from social media. I'm not talking about you 5 or 10% women that actually add value to men's life. I'm talking about the vast majority of them is about as useless as tits on a bull's ass. Pretty much. Outside of sex, some of them, the vast majority of them, the things they talk about, the thinking, that liberal indoctrinated mindset, I mean, they are what they are, but trying to live with them, if you're going to sign a contract to be in a committed relationship with a modern woman, hey, look, do what you want, but I think you need to get your damn head examined. It better be some type of huge economic advantage where if that shit goes south, she's makes so much money, or she's in such a situation where, you know, she not even going to be, your money won't even be on the table, or some prenuptial agreement that you have signed that is so ironclad that, it's like, hey, shit, we just signed it. We signed this prenup, and we just go, you go your way, I go my way. Shit didn't work out. But that's the way you have to be 2025 and beyond. The old system is gone. And this is why I talk about men's adaptation on this channel. You have to adapt to the world. Forget about your feelings. It's not your daddy, your granddaddy's world, or the world before that. Forget your feelings, forget your emotions, forget all this fantasy about and this hope bullshit, and start living life with purpose and finding purpose in life and real hobbies in life. This shit is over with. Adaptation is necessary. It's just not your granddaddy's world. And that's why I used to be sitting in the morning, I'm in a good mood, because I have adapted to the realities of 2025 and beyond. I don't have any irritation. I find peace and purpose in my hobbies and the things that I do with my life. I enjoy it because I understand the new reality that we currently face as men. If you live in the past, your problem is you're disappointed because you have this Leave It a Beaver type 1930s fantasy in your brain, and you're sitting around thinking about love and romantic love and sharing your life with this special someone. Yeah, if you got a 5 or 10% woman, but why spend your life worrying about chasing unicorn? If it happens, it happens. If it don't, get a freaking life. It could be worse. You could be watch couples therapy. You could be one of those dudes and see what happens to your life. That dude look at you and be like, you free. Look at this dude over here. This dude is free. He can go to Singapore in the red light district and enjoy his life. He can go to Pattaya, or you can go to anywhere in America, Florida, Miami, Vegas. You could fly around the world and have a damn good time. Not that men should be doing that. But the fact is that you're free. And you have the option as of being obligated to some ball-busting feminist that the guy married, and he's just trapped. His money is trapped. His kids trapped. She's threatening to take his kids and all of his resources if he was to, upset her a certain way, and she just disrespectful, is gained about 50, 60 pounds. That's real loneliness. Not you running around here watching, pick up a game and some crusty lip old dude on the internet teaching you how to get boxed from chicken heads. Pimps, half of them dudes be on crack, be in and out of prison, tossing salads. You gonna listen to dudes that kicking degenerate criminal game about women? Who cares about these chicken heads? Let them wild horses run free. You can get whatever you want of them just by having self-esteem. Listen to some Patrice O'Neal or some stuff that builds you a level of indifference and intolerance. Building your life, understanding from a business perspective how to evaluate women, how to evaluate life, get all that emotions and feelings of the past and all that Hollywood love story, men living in their fantasy and their delusion about a creature that looks at life as business. And that's what you got to understand. They look at life as business. Why shouldn't you? That's what you got to understand. I'm not talking about the 5% women. I'm talking about in general, in the modern environment and the modern culture. They were raised to dislike you. They were raised that you're an oppressive patriarchy. They were raised to distrust you. So what are you doing with your life? Spending your life trying to chase some type of social, societal validation from a system that only sees you as disposable. Good luck to you guys with that. Anyhow, I'm more in terms of a more progressive mindset. And you taking care of you, because nobody's going to take care of you like you, letting happiness trickle down from you. Because when men are happy and when men put their happiness as their primary focus, it improves the life of everybody around them. You put your health, you put yourself first, and everybody else's life gets better. You start putting women first, they're just gonna do things to make themselves happier. They ain't care about your happiness. The typical modern woman today is a taker. A taker. They take. That's what they do. Stop this delusion. That's what they're designed to. You are a disposal tampon for their happiness and what they need for their life. There's no thought of reciprocation or what they need to be doing for you. Shit, you can forget about that. So get out of this delusion of these beautiful movie-like feminine submissive creatures that's going to treat you and offer you fair exchange and value. You can get fair exchange and value, you demand it, and you look at life and relationships as a business. But stop this, fantasy about what we see here in the culture. What you see is real. And you have to use tools to mitigate the risk out here. Be smart. Life comes with risk, and make good decisions going forward. But selling you if you stand around, run around, walking up to strange women at random who have 100 dudes in their DM, you need to go work some overtime and do some self-development. Who the hell has time to be walking up to some chicken heads, some birds, trying to get their number? I'd rather see a guy go put a profile on a dating app, and even though that's trash, and at least get the rejection online without minimal effort. What kind of fool? What life that you live that you got that kind of time when you could be making money, you could be working at the gym, you could be working on a business, you could be working on ideas and meet women naturally in your journey towards excellence. Who has time to be? Anyhow, that's a whole different video on that topic. The best way to meet women is naturally out here while you chasing your dreams, tracing your goals. Talk to all of them. Talk to women, period. But not in the terms of trying to just talking to women. You could find out who is who, and guarantee you will see the 5% to 10% women will stand out in time if that's what you're looking for. But walking up to random strangers, especially in this environment of Me Too and women are just expressing, most women nowadays, because of the delusion of social media, think that they deserve a woman that's a 3 or 4 still thinks she's a 10. So any man that walks up to her that's not the type of standard of man that she likes, she feels disrespected because you're hideous, and it lowers her value in her mind. It like, why does he think that he can be talking to me? Look at him. And she actually gets angry at you. Imagine that. And the woman's probably like 4 levels less attractive than you. But in her mind, and because of so many simps and people on social media, she thinks she deserves more than what you have to offer. So you just went somewhere and then walk up to some strange woman and almost she feels disrespected by you actually talking to her. So who's going to do that shit? When you could just weed through 100 of them at a time, and then whoever is attracted to you is going to hit on your profile or some shit like that. I wouldn't even do that. I'm saying I'd rather you just operate in the world naturally, and you can feel the energy and the vibes from the women around you. And so that's what people used to meet years ago. I mean, you meet people, church, community, whatever. That's been destroyed lately because of social media and men just, But the best way to meet people is naturally through social network. That has never failed to yield higher results than online or walking up to random strangers. It just gets real weird in 2025 and beyond. If you know what I mean, especially with social media delusion. But anyhow, Ayn Rand, I know she has an atheist and she has her issues. But at the same time, we've got to get that men have to learn to value themselves beyond women. And the people that shame, I watched this funny thing about, I was talking about it. I have to, man, this video going longer than I expected. I was watching the Piers Morgan interview where Piers Morgan, like some old dude, is shaming. He was talking to Nick Fuentes or whatever. He's got some issues, but he's kept calling him an incel and misogynist, but incel. I was like, Nick, if he's a devout Christian, why would he have had sex with somebody? Isn't sex preserved for marriage? If he's not married, why would he? He should be a virgin, right? You would think, right? But it was just, I have to do a reaction to that. That was a strange interview. Here's a guy like he's just trying to score points for the culture. Piers Morgan, as old as he is, chastising some 27-year-old. The most goofy conversation ever. You guys gotta check that out. Just like, why are you even talking to that 27-year-old young man like that? Who? You know, anyhow, peace and blessings to you guys. Make sure you hit the like button. We'll have more conversations. Go forward. All right, bye.